Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Zoe Alice, welcome. In this wonderful general reading, I'm basically going to tell you this is for Gemini. Gemini is going to go from April 5th to April 12th of 2025. So it's going to be a good reading of how it is. No wonder about how it seems to be, but you have to understand about how it's going to go in that way. Then you have to provide what you're looking for in that way. So you do exactly what you're told to do. Be responsible. Be how you're feeling. Be how you're going to be wanted. How you can understand that. So, that's what it seems to be, I guess. And you need to understand about this is going to be how it is. This is not going to be where you're going to be in a baseball field or a playing field or whatever. But you have to understand about how you can do what you can to do what you're told to do, be responsible on how you're feeling, be responsible on how you're going to do that. That's the way it kind of unfolds. That's how it seems to be, I guess. So that's the way it seems to be, I guess. And you need to understand that this is the way it needs to be in that way. And you think that everything seems to be fine, wanted, but then it's like, well, this is going to be how it is. This can be how courageous you are, or how you can do it, right? So that's what it means. But here we go. This oracle card says, self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. That's the way it goes, Gemini. Where you need to figure out about how you can do it, how you can live your own expectations, whether you're going to forgive or forget. That's the way it goes. But, the way of how this is like you ask and you shall receive. That's the way it seems to be. So you need to do what you're told to do. Be responsible. Be how you're feeling. Be how you are. But that's how it seems to be in that way. You have to feel the vibrations. Feel about how it's going to be in that way. And think, okay, well, I know what to do. I got this. But that's how it seems to be. You need to understand on how it is in that way. And how you can understand in one way or another. That's the way it goes, right? So that's how it seems to be. So we're going to look at the past, the present, and the future of how it goes. And this is the way it seems to be, I guess. This is the way it kind of goes in that way. Overall, with this reading, this is how it's going to be implying. So this is going to be a very, very interesting reading indeed. But this is how it's going to be in one way or another. So here we go. So this is how big this huge reading is. Basically of how it's going to be in that way. Because this is the way it's going to be in the way of how this is. The way of how this is. So the way of I'm going to say this as a good feeling or a wrong feeling. The way of how this is going to impose of this, you have the King of Cups as support, you have the Five of Cups as grave, you have the Magician is upright because you're going to have skill. The Eight of Cups reversed, there's no, entertainment, whatever it is. The Seven of Pentacles reversed, you already have a career, that's the way it goes. The Nine of Pentacles upright, you're feeling comfortable, and the Chariot is upright, you're having progress. This is the way of how you can do it, but you can deal with in the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You can be dealing with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. There are things you must learn first in order to do that. That's the way it kind of goes in that way. And you think that, okay, well, this is the way it seems to be in that way. And this is how it is. So I'm going to go from the right side all the way to the left side. Okay, that's the way of how it is. So the Gemini is upright. The Seven of Swords is upright, followed the Page of Pentacles is upright, Queen of Wands reversed, Queen of Swords is upright, King of Cups is upright, Four of Pentacles is upright, followed the Moon is upright. So you have misrotations, you have, you have support, you have, the ways of how this is going to be you're feeling deceit because you're thinking, oh, well, this is not going to end well, because you pay attention. You need to understand about how you can do it in one or another. This is not how self-sabotage. This is not the way of how you can do it. But you need to understand about how you're feeling, how you're going to act, the way of how you can do it. you have to improve about what's going on in that situation, whether you like it or not. So you have to pay attention, right? That's the way it seems to be. So I'm going to clarify the Empress all the way to the Chariot card. Page of Cups is upright, okay? The Temperance reversed, okay? So you're not healing. Ten of Cups upright, there's completion. Those upright, you're feeling obsession. Page of Wands is upright. Four of Cups reversed. The Eight of Cups is upright. Six of Swords reversed. Two of Swords reversed. The Tower reversed. And the Chariot is upright. So it means they're going to have, progress of how it is. You're feeling obsession because you're probably feeling, you're being like Capricorn, what it is. You want to be in entertainment, you want completion. You're not going to have any movement because you're feeling like how everything is. But you think that, oh, well, everything is going to be all great. But you think, well, is it the issue? Is it beyond that point? Is it the way of how this is, right? It's the way of how you can predict what's going to be happening all at once. That's the way it goes. So you need to understand about how you can do it in one way or another. So let me clarify. Let me clarify from the middle to the left. The Temperance is upright, followed with the Star is upright, followed with the Devil reversed, followed with the Empress is upright. So you're feeling like you're going to have nourishment, right? You're having inspiration, you want temperance because you want healing. That's the way it goes in that way. So we understand what's going on in that way of how it's going to be, in the way of how this is in that way. What's happening on the right side, please? The Hangman reverse, so there's no restrictions. The Strength card reverse, you're not having any strength. The Hermit reverse, there's no solitude. Magician reverse, you're not having any skill. The Mirror reverse, there's no expectations. The Word reverse, there's incompletion. Yeah, because there's something that was incompleted. And when things are not incompleted, it's like you're missing something. You're missing about a piece of a puzzle or something like that. It's like you're having you're going to fail or something. It's that's how it is. It's not going to work that way. But you understand how this is. It's a process of understanding about how you're going to be feeling of how it is one way or another, Gemini. That's how it seems to be. So what's going on? Who's on the right side, please? The Emperor reverse. So you're not having any structure. Who's in the middle? The Three of Pentacles is upright. Okay, who's on the left side? The Sun reverse. So you are in negativity. So when you are in negativity, things are not going as planned. Things are not going your way. You're thinking, well, this is not going to end well. It's not. Because when you have the Three of Pentacles, you're feeling all excitement. You're feeling like, okay, I know this. I'm going to have a rush of energy. I do what I can. The Emperor reverse means that you have no structure. That's the way it goes. You're not being creative as much as it used to be, whatever it is. Then you have the Sun card reverse because you're in negativity. Things are not going as the way of how it is, the way of how you hope, the way how you progress of how it goes. Yes, you have progress, you have things to be in that way, because you're feeling uptight, you're feeling about how it is, you're thinking, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but that's how it's going to be in that way. So let me figure out what's going on with this Sun card. So I'm going to use one card. The Judgment is upright. So you're going to take action. That's the way it goes. What's happening in the middle? Justice reversed. Alright. Who's on the right side? The Fool is upright. So there's change. Alright. So let me figure out what's going on. The way of how this is. So what's going on with the Judgment, please? The Tower is upright. Follow the Temperance is upright. So you're going to have healing and you have transformation. Everything is going to change in a split second. That's the way it goes. So you need to be who you are in that way, and you think, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but that's how it seems to be in that way, right? What's this Justice card about? The Chariot is upright, followed with the Strength card is upright. So it does mean that you're going to have progress, and you have strength because you want to do that, you want to pay attention, that you're going to have strength. You're going to have the ability from how you can do it in that way. This is not putting a put upon in different ways, right? You have different ways about understanding of what's going on through that perfection of how it is, right? You have to be precise. You have to do what you're told to do. That's the way it goes, right? What's this Fool card about? The Moon reversed, but with the Empress reversed. So you're not being the Empress. You're not being like the fabulous woman. You know, that's the way how it goes. Between the Moon and the Empress, Magician reversed, but with Wheel of Fortune reversed. So you're having bad luck. Yeah, because that's the way it kind of informs that. What's the opposite with that card, please? The Hermit reverse, you already have you already have a soulmate. The Lovers reverse, you're not making any decisions. But the Devil's upright is you're feeling obsession. Yeah, because you know you're thinking like, why me? Like, why I need to figure this out? Because things are not going as planned. Things are not going as your way. Things are not being who you are. It's like, why you're having this dignity and self-respect, and you know you're thinking, oh well, this is not going to end well. It's not, because you're focusing on what's happening in this way, in this whole entire realm. You know, you have to think about what you're going to be doing in that position, right? That's the way it seems to be in that way. So you're thinking, oh well, I know what to do. I got this. I'm going to do it. But that's the way it goes, right? So you have to be informed of how it's going to be in that way, right? That's the way it goes. So in that interesting way about what's going on, you have to think about, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but that's how it seems to be, right? So let's see what's going on. Let's see. So let me figure this out. So I'm going to go from the middle to the right, and then I'm going to go from the middle to the left. Now this is going to be totally different, Gemini. Totally different. And watch. So we have the Sun card that's reversed. So I said negativity, right? So you're on negativity. Now, the Nine of Pentacles here, you're not feeling comfortable. Two Pentacles is upright, you're balancing two things at once. Basically, the Fool reversed, there's no change. The Queen of Pentacles is upright. The Knight of Swords reversed. Well, the Three of Wands is upright. So you want communication, but you don't want drama. You don't want change. You want stability. You don't want to feel comfortable, because you're being like where you're in negativity, right? You need to understand about what's going on that way, and you have to focus on that. Focus about how you're going to be doing it in one way or another. So you could be focusing on Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius as a zodiac signs, as fire signs. Pay attention to that. That's the way it goes. What's happening between the middle and the right? Or the left side, I mean. The Emperor reversed, followed with the Strength card reversed, followed with the Death card reversed, followed with the Knight of Cups is upright. Yeah, because you want to have romance. Yes, that's the way it goes in that way. And you think, okay, well, this is the way it goes. That's why I'm not having any strength or anything else, because you know things are not going as planned. Things are not going as way. Whatever it is, that's the way it seems to be. What's in the middle here? Ace of Pentacles reversed. There's no prosperity. King of Pentacles. So you want to have stability. That's the way it goes. You want to think that, okay, well, I know what to do. I'm going to, you know, how I can do it. I'm not going to bite the bullet. I'm not going to do whatever I want. But that's how it seems to be. You need to believe that you can take it on and, you know, do what you can to empower that situation. Whether, you know, things are going to go as planned, because that's the way it goes, right? So I want to go to the same thing. So what's between the middle and the right, and in the middle to the left? The Lotus reversed, followed with the Four of Wands is upright, so they're going to be celebration. Queen of Wands reversed, the Fool reversed, followed with the Five of Swords reversed, followed by the Two of Wands is upright. Yeah, because you want to plan on something. That's the way it goes. So it's like you want to have a celebration. You want things to be going your way. You know, you don't have any conflict. That's the way it goes, where you need to understand that, right? Expand about how you're feeling in that way. What's happening between the left side and right in the left side. The Ace of Cups reversed, followed with the 2 Pentacles is upright, followed with the King of Swords is upright. Yeah, because you want to have support, you want to have knowledge, you want things to be going as that plan. You're balancing two things at once. That's the way it goes. So you need to believe that. All right, well, I know what to do. I got this. But that's how it seems to be. That's why how you're feeling is the right way. The right way of knowing what to do, and you think that, okay, well, that's the way it seems to be, and that's how it kind of imposes of that situation. So I'm going to do one card on the left side, one card in the middle, one card on the right. Let's see what the universe is saying here. Okay, so let's see. So who's on the left? So the 3 of Swords is upright, so you're having heartbreak. Okay, what's in the middle? 5 of Cups is upright, there's grief. Alright, what's on the right side? The Knight of Wands is upright, you're feeling immaturity. Alright, so let's start off with the 3 of Swords. So basically you're having heartbreak. Okay, I know how it is. I know how you're feeling, hurt. Or you feeling there was something that was in that, beyond that point. So you could be dealing with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius as another air sign, so zodiac sign, so pay attention to that. But anyway, I'm going to clarify. On the left side, please. Ace Pentacles upright, there's growth. 6 Pentacles upright, you want to have acting like kindness. Yeah. You want to be suitable. You want to be who you are in that way. And that's how you are improving of how it is one or another. And you think, alright, well, I know what to do. I got this because I'm going to intervene. Or I'm going to set aside my own principles of how it is. That's the way it goes, right? So when you pay attention, you have to understand about when you have kindness, you have that, right? So this is how it is in one or another. What's between this grief card? The High Priest is upright, you're going to use your inner voice. Queen of Wands reversed, there's no charisma. Loyalty, there's no loyalty. 6 of Wands reversed, there's no achievement. And Ace of Swords reversed, there's a misunderstanding. Yeah, so you're using your inner voice, that's the way it goes. But when you have a misunderstanding, things are not going as planned, or you're thinking like you're going deaf, or whatever it is, right? I'm not being mean or rude about that, but you need to pay attention on how it's going to be in that way. You need to, how you can do it, how you can, figuring out what's going on in this way, and you think, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but that's how it seems to be in that way. What's between the Knight of Wands here? The Queen of Pentacles here, there's no stability. The Hierophant reverse, you want guidance. The 10 of Pentacles reverse, there's no vision, like you already have a career. Queen of Cups reverse, there's no empathy. King of Cups is upright, you want support. You want to do that as a wonderful way of how it is, because that's how it's based on of how it seems to be. So that's the way it needs to be in that way, because you need to understand that. You need to impose of what you're looking for, because it's based on that. It's based on how you're feeling, based on how you do that, of how it is. So this is the way of how it is. This is the way of how it seems to be. And that's the way it goes. But before I let you all go, try to pay attention on what I'm saying. Try to believe in what I'm going to be telling you. But that's how it is in this way, because you need to understand that. That's the way it goes. That's why I'm imposing of this situation of how it seems to be in that way. So you need to understand that. So that's how it seems to be. So I hope you all like this video. Please give it a like. Please give it a comment and enjoy. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to you all. Bye for now. Really. Bye.